It's Battlebox time again, and this might be the best one ever. That's coming up on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose. My name is Brian. Thanks for joining me. So the folks at Battlebox were kind enough to send me this month's box so I could show it to you. And I know last month I said that was probably my favorite box so far. Well, they've done it again. This one may now be my favorite box, and you'll see why in just a minute. But like always, what I've done is I went out and compared the street prices that I could find with what their stated prices are to see what kind of value you're getting. We'll talk about that as we go down to the old stump top. But without any further rambling, let's get down and do some of that Battlebox stuff. Okay, so here is Battlebox, Mission 17, July 2016, and it is the Firebox. So, like always, they've got a little card in here that tells you what you get, and we'll just take a look at what's in here. So we'll go down the list. By the way, real quickly, there are four basic levels. There's the basic, which is $24.99 plus shipping per month. The advanced is $49.99 plus shipping. Pro, $99.99. I think that's plus shipping, I'm not sure. And the Pro Plus, $149.99 plus shipping. And you'll have to check their website to see what the shipping is. I really couldn't find that information. But let's get right to it. So I'm going to move this out of the way and we'll start right now. So first of all, again, this is my fire starting box. So I'm thinking that's just, you know me, right? This is going to be one of my favorites right off the bat. So the first thing that's included in this month's basic box is the live fire starter, which you've heard me say this before. This is one of my favorite fire starters ever. I bought a bunch of these in the past, and they're just a little tin. You scrape them up and you light them and you can reseal them and all that. I've got videos actually on this, so I'll probably put a link to that below. But that's the live fire starter. Again, one of my favorite fire starters ever. They're giving that a $13.99 value. Actually, on the website, they say it's $9.99, but either way, I actually found that for $8.95 on Amazon, so that's cool. The next thing is the Zombie Tinder Jelly Gin Cotton Tin, and basically this is just some cotton with a little bit of a petroleum jelly on the inside of it. They're giving this a $6.95 value, and that's what I found it for on Amazon. But actually on Amazon, there's also $4.54 shipping. It's not on Prime, so this is probably a pretty fair price. The next item on the list in the basic is the Dragonfire Tinderbox Extreme Pouch, and basically it's just got a bunch of tinder in it. We're going to take a look at it right now because why not? Because I just want to. And they're giving this a $12 value. I found it for $11.95 on Amazon, and what it is, as you can see, it's just a bunch of natural tinder. It's got some looks like some different kind of barks and leaves and wood and different types of natural tinder in here, which is pretty cool to help you work on your skills for starting a fire with natural tinder. So we'll pick some of that back up. Looks like it's got some birch bark in it and different stuff there. So seal that back up, put it over here. Pretty cool stuff there. Then the next item in the basic kit, which is something I think is really cool, and it's a Pocket Bellows waterproof fire starting kit, and this is here. And basically, if you haven't seen the Pocket Bellows, one of my scouts had one of these a couple campouts ago, and it's really cool. It's just like a little telescoping tube, but you can pull this thing out, and it gets to be about 24 inches long, and it gives you a way to, you know, basically blow on your fire without getting your face down in the coals, which is excellent idea in my opinion. One of those I wish I thought of it ideas, because it's so simple, but yet it's so effective. Anyway, like I said, one of my Boy Scouts had one of these, and it just plain worked. And this little kit comes with some some fire fuses, which are basically some sort of accelerant impregnated pieces of little rope in here, and it's in its own little waterproof tube, a little small fire steel, and of course the Pocket Bellows, which is I think is really cool. They're giving this a $24.99 value, and I found this one on Amazon for $15.99, so a little bit of difference there. And if I can get it back in the tube, that'll be a miracle. There we go. Pocket Bellows there. And last but not least, at least in my opinion, in this basic kit is two Battlebox guitar picks, which are made of flammable celluloid. You can actually scrape these off and use it for tinder. And you may know I play guitar, so this is really cool in my opinion. So that's Altogether, they're giving this a $57.93 value, or it could be a $53.93 value, depending on what value you assign to this. Either way, I came up with a total value of $48.38 from basically from Amazon. So not too bad for $24.99 plus shipping. So that's the basic box for this month. The next level is the advanced, which is $49.99. In the advanced level, of course, you get everything in the basic plus a couple of other items. This month, the couple of other items are the Zombie Tinder Pioneer Char tin, which is a cool, like a little Altoids type tin. But what it's got in here is pretty cool. It's got a Firestarter, a couple of pieces of flint, and some jute twine and some char cloth. And so I'm not going to mess with the char cloth. We're just going to see how well this stuff will actually have, it'll strike a spark. And these are kind of small pieces of flint, but I don't know if you can. But I'm definitely getting a lot of sparks off of them, so hopefully you can see that. But so it works pretty good, and it's got a Ranger band on the outside of it. They're giving this a $24.95 value. The only place I could find it was on Zombie Tinder's website for $24.95. I can tell you that I paid somewhere in the neighborhood of about $15 to $18 for a striker and some just a couple of pieces of flint, a little bigger than that, without the char cloth but on there. So pretty close value there. So that's the Zombie Tinder Pioneer Char tin. The next item in the advanced is another pretty cool item. All this is for starting fires. This is actually for stopping a fire. This is a little mini fire extinguisher blaze defense system. It is a mini suppressor. They're giving this an $18.95 value. And the only place I could find it was another website, not Amazon, but it was a secondary seller site, and it was also $18.95. So pretty fair value there. But it's always something good to have with you if you're going to mess around with fire, because you just never know. So altogether, this is what is included in the advanced this month for $49.99 plus shipping. They're giving this $101.83 value. I came up with about $92.28, so almost double the value for the advanced again. So the next level is a pro level. It's $99.99 plus shipping. It's got a couple of unusual items in it, at least unusual for me this month. First of all is this is a fire cone, and basically what this is, it's just a little really, I think it's like carbon steel or cast. What is it made out of? It's made out of some kind of steel, but that you can put gel or alcohol or liquid fuel or pretty much anything in here, and it's strong enough where you're not going to melt it. You can light it, set this cone on it, you can build your fire over it, and it'll help you get a fire started. And then when your fire's done, you just pull this out of the ashes and you're good to go. So that's a instant fire starter. You can actually pour alcohol or whatever into it. The next item, and they're giving this actually a zero cost, is a utility flame gel pouch. And this is just some gel fire starter from Ultimate Fire Solutions, and basically it's just like a alcohol type gel that you can burn. So tear open the package, squeeze it out, and light it. So that is, they're giving this a zero value. They're not assigning a value to that, so they're just kind of throwing that in. And the last but not least, for the pro level, very popular, is a UST Blast match. It's a one-handed fire starter. It's basically a ferro rod that works with one hand, and we will just take it on out right now and let you have a look and see how it works. So basically, you just squeeze this, and let's get the paint off of it. Okay, now that we got the paint off of it, you can see it just absolutely. There you go. You got to squeeze it a little bit. It's just basically got a little striker in here and a ferro rod here. Squeeze it and push it, and you can see it does a great job of really throwing out some sparks there. And then it's got a little cover that you can put down and just locks in place, if I can get, there you go, to cover it up. So that's the UST Blast match. So they're giving this a value of $24.95. I found this on Amazon for $14.03. So that's everything in the pro level this month for $99.99 plus shipping. They're giving this a value of $176.77. I came up with $156.30, which is still a pretty good deal for around $100. Now, the last level they have is called the Pro Plus, or the Knife of the Month Club. And they've had some pretty cool knives before. I think this one is so far the best one I have seen, to be honest with you. Maybe you recognize this. This is the Ontario Knife Company. And the Knife of the Month this month is the Ontario Rat 3, which is a very nice knife, 1095 carbon steel. And then it comes with a kind of a custom sheath option, which is basically a, it's got this standard Kydex style sheath. It's probably some kind of plastic, and it really doesn't look like Kydex, but it's the same kind of deal. And also, it has a tech lock with it that you can use if you prefer to mount it in a lot of different configurations in a lot of different ways. So it gives you a lot of options here. They're giving this a $95 value with the tech lock. Actually on Amazon, you get the knife and then the tech lock as a combination is about $75.38. So that brings the total assigned value for the Pro Plus for $271.77. I came up with $231.68 for about $150. So not quite $100 extra worth of value. Some really cool stuff this month though, and some of this stuff is just I couldn't find it anywhere other than just on the manufacturer's website. Chuck Norris got pulled over for speeding, but he let the officer go with a warning. Okay, well there you go. There's a quick look at the July 2016 Battlbox Mission 17, the fire starting box. Honestly, I don't, as far as the value goes, I think this month maybe the value to cost ratio wasn't quite as high as it is sometimes, but there's a lot of cool stuff in there. And if you go with the pro level, you get that really cool Rat 3 knife. And don't forget, there are guitar picks. So anyway, thanks again to the folks at Battlbox for sending me this so I can show it to you. And as always, thank you for watching Survival on Purpose. Thanks for subscribing, thanks for clicking that thumbs up, and thank you so much for sharing this video with all your friends. And thank you for supporting this channel by doing all your Amazon shopping through the Survival on Purpose links. I really appreciate the support. Once again, my name's Brian. You're watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time. I am not going to be defeated by a silly little thing. There we go. There. How do I get it out? Oh, okay.